Alright, Mike here again from Better Times, here to go over with you our safe parlay, our underdog to watch, and of course our fantasy pick 2. You'll probably guess the fantasy pick 2 by the end. Now, we also have a nice little underdog parlay that we'll go over that in a bit. Now, as of right now, for those of you who don't know, our safe parlay is a 2 to 4 legged parlay that we have the most confidence in, and we bring it to you. And last week we had for the first time, we put a prop in, and that prop did cost us, but we did not learn our lesson because we're going to do it again this week. For this week, we have Natan Levy, who I believe holds the power advantage over Mike Breeden, who is striking is very good, but I believe Natan Levy's going to pull it off. And then we have Andre Touchy-Feely. He's going up against Joanderson Brito, who, again, the power advantage is in his opponent's favor, but the skills of Andre Feely is what's going to win him this fight. And then, of course, our prop is going to be Alexander Romanov, who's going up against Chase Sherman. We're just going to put him winning inside the distance. Now, those three, Andre Feely, Natan Levy, Alexander Romanov inside the distance, gives you a plus 139. So $50 will win you a $70 back. Now, our underdog to watch for this week is going to be Carlos Candelario, for the simple reason that I just don't understand how he's the underdog in this matchup. He is a very well-rounded fighter, and he seems to hold the advantage in terms of activity over his opponent. He is very busy on the ground, very busy on the feet, and he has little holes in his games. So I don't understand why he's the underdog, and that's why he's our underdog to watch. And our fantasy pick 2. For those of you who don't know, our fantasy pick 2 will give you only 2. We'll give you an underdog who we think is going to win, and then we're going to give you another person who is most likely the favorite. We believe is just going to probably most likely finish the fight. And, of course, we already gave those to you. Alexander Romanov, Carlos Candelario. That's our fantasy pick 2. Figure the rest of it out for yourself. Now, our underdog parlay. For this fight card, we got quite a few underdogs that we believe, or most likely believe, is going to pull it off. We got Marlon Vera, who's going up against Rob Font in the main event. Now, the difference I see between these two fighters is that Rob Font, as good and as accurate as he is, his head is always in front of his knees, which means he's putting everything into his shots. And they're very quick shots, and he's very accurate. But when it comes to his opponent, Marlon Vera, he keeps everything tight. He doesn't overextend. So if he keeps his composure, heavy pressure, and he really works those leg kicks, wow, I don't see how he loses. I really believe the way he was able to handle the power of Jose Aldo, and let's be honest, he could have won that fight if he wasn't taken down. I believe Marlon Vera gets this done inside the distance. Our second one is going to be Johan Lioness, if I'm saying that correctly. The power this man has is truly something to behold. Now, his opponent, Gabe Green, is very, very skilled. The activity this guy brings is very overwhelming to most opponents, but sometimes the equalizer, which is the power, just overcomes all of that, and I believe Lioness has plenty of that to throw. And plus, even when he does throw full power all the time, he has shown an ability to carry that throughout the whole fight. So I believe the power is something to watch out for, and I believe the power is something that's going to win him this fight. Our third underdog, of course, is Carlos Candelario. No more explanation needed. And then we have a fourth one, Jake Collier. This man is really something special when he was at middleweight. I think he had a lot of promise, but now that he's up at heavyweight, he still carries that same movement at middleweight. Excuse me. He carries that same movement at middleweight to the heavyweight division. And Andre Arlovski, his opponent, He usually makes his opponent fight his fight. He uses a bunch of feints, a bunch of movements. Usually the only people that beat him are the people who don't care about his feints and movements, and they just come in with that power and usually knock him out. Now, Jake Collier, I'm not saying he's going to knock him out, but he has that same mentality. He's not going to go for all the feints and all the movements. He's just going to move forward and make you fight him at his pace. And it's going to be a tiring pace, something that Andre Arlovski, at his own pace, tires out in the later rounds. So those are our 4. Marlon Vera, Jake Collier, Carlos Candelario, and Johan Lioness. Those 4 is a plus 2673. Only $20 will win you $534. And that's our episode.